You gotta remember, it's your thoughts and not your own. A lot of people, they come attached to their thoughts. I think because they in their head, they belong to them. But that's far from the truth, right? Your thoughts belong to your emotions, and your emotions don't even belong to you. Nothing but as I've been on my journey, I realized a lot of things, right? I realized what I used to be and who I am now, right? And the person I am now walk in truth. I don't walk in falsehood, right? So a lot of people that I used to be cool with and used to know, we can't get along no more because they still walking in falsehood, right? They not willing to take responsibility for their actions, right? And that's the main thing. When you walk in the truth, you take responsibility and realize everything comes from you. Every bad move and every good one, right? It ain't no way you can think that the good things you do come from you, but the bad things come from somebody else. Nah, they both come from you. Nothing wrong. You got a right to be mad. Everybody in the world could be mad. The problem come in when you let that madness create webs for you. Let me tell you what I mean by webs. Create the same results. Every time you get mad, you do this. Every time you get mad, you do that. You got to repurpose that anger, right? So when you upset, you got to find something that you like to do and repurpose that anger into something else, something that can be positive for you, right? Because it ain't the anger, it's how we use the anger. The anger is fire. If you know how to use your fire correctly, then you could go a long way. I'm gonna tell you what nigga told me in jail. He say, man, you got a lot of fire, right? But it's like a magnifying glass. If you put it in one place and put an egg right there, it'll cook that egg. But if you keep on moving that magnifying glass, that egg will never cook, right? So direct fire on a direct thing will cause a great result, right? But y'all be sending y'all fire everywhere. You get mad and take it out on everybody, and that becomes the problem. I'm no way the smartest person in the world. I don't even call myself smart, right? I just try to pay attention, right? And realize that I'm not the body. This body is not me. And these thoughts are not my own, right? And once I see that, I can separate myself from my thoughts and from my emotions, right? I just separate myself from it. Let that do what it do. And I'm going to sit back and be still, right? Because it's all about being still, right? And letting them thoughts come. Sort of like the weather. The snow, grab a rain, grab a coat, a heavy coat, and you can't do nothing about the snow, right? Like you can't do nothing about the thoughts, right? Because we don't create the thoughts. So everybody watching this, if you think I'm lying about you not being able to create the thoughts, tell me what you're going to be thinking in the next 5 minutes. Nobody on here can do that, right? Because you don't create your thoughts. Your thought is dependent on where you be and how you feel in the next 5 minutes. If you're not aware, right? They just keep coming in your head, right? But people attach themselves to them thoughts, and that's when everything go wrong. Like, so when I hold myself accountable, I hold everybody around me accountable, and they should hold themselves accountable, right? I don't hold them accountable. They should hold themselves accountable. Let me rephrase that. So when I hold myself accountable, everybody around me should hold themselves accountable, and then it'll be peace, right? Because like people understand that people got a right to be angry, but people ain't got a right to cuss at you and hit at you because they angry, right? So they ain't got a right to disrespect you when they get angry neither, right? Because there's nothing wrong with anger. Jesus said it's okay to be mad, but don't let the sun go down and go to sleep mad, because you don't know what's going to happen. You're going to travel to a different realm, right? Because when you leave this body, you go in your astral body, and you don't want to be in your astral body mad and upset, right? Because if something happened in your sleep, you coming back here again, right? And people don't want to keep coming back here, right? And when I say that, it's like when you open your star chakra, you gonna see how many times you've been here. Everybody been here many a times, right? It's all on how you view it. So I just want to say this, that everybody in the trenches, we on a different frequency, right? Everybody be on different frequencies, but we got to remember that we have to really pay attention. Life is about being aware. I know y'all heard the saying, to be aware is to be alive. We got to realize that there's no such thing as mistakes or accidents. Accidents are not accidents, because if you tap the same thing every time, you get the same result, right? So we got to understand that once we become aware of that, then we can change that, right? We can change that by saying, damn, when I do this, this happened. When I do this, that happened. When I do this, then this happened, right? And that's what people call mistakes and accidents, right? But it's a lot of people that don't understand that, right? But once you understand that, you can stop them mistakes and accidents. Now, given it is a mistake or accident to the person because they unaware. They unaware. So it becomes a mistake. But in a spiritual realm, it's not a mistake. It was done on purpose. So you got to understand that, right? And this spiritual realm is totally different now, because don't nobody know. No one is aware. That's what I mean. It's done on purpose, right? But it's not done on purpose to the person actually doing it. right? That's why Jesus said we don't fight against people, we fight against principalities and power, right? See, people got to understand that though this is a physical world, though we're in 3D reality, it's also a 5D reality happening at the same time. The past, the present, and the future is all connected. So everything's kind of like happening at the same time. So if you go one way, you go crazy. Like if I go too spiritual, I'm crazy now because I don't understand matter in the physical realm. If I go too physical, then I'm fucking crazy because I don't understand the spiritual realm. The best way is to balance them both, right? Know when to use it. Like in your trenches, you know when to use the switch. You know when to just take out, you know what I'm saying, the small clip, the 30 round. You know exactly when to use each weapon. It's kind of like being a professional. And that take practice, right? In life, that take practice and skill, right? That take time to yourself, right? That's take understanding you, right? That's what I did, gang. It's been a couple years and I've been on this journey, right? But the journey gonna be 10 more years. Well, that's why I say you gotta love what God loves unconditionally. No matter what people do, you still love them. But you remove yourself from spiritual attacks, right? Because spiritual attacks, they come all day. We in a spiritual warfare, right? So spiritual attacks, they stay coming. And they come through the people that you love the most, right? Because them are the people probably that you've been around for a long time that don't really understand, right? And then you can't get mad at a person for not understanding. It's like being mad at a child that's 3 years old for not knowing how to write. Like how could a child 3-year-old know how to write? That's why Jesus said you got to get the bottle first. I like to say do the ba-ba first, right? Because people got to understand, right? And it takes time, right? It takes time. But the only thing that people lack is spiritual attacks, right? Because spiritual attacks, they come all day. We in a spiritual warfare, right? So spiritual attacks, they stay coming. And they come through the people that you love the most, right? Because them are the people probably that you've been around for a long time that don't really understand, right? And then you can't get mad at a person for not understanding. It's like being mad at a child that's 3 years old for not knowing how to write. Like how could a child 3-year-old know how to write? That's why Jesus said you got to get the bottle first. I like to say do the ba-ba first, right? Because people got to understand, right? And it takes time, right? It takes time. But the only thing that people lack at if they don't look at themselves, they keep looking outside of themselves, right? That you caused this, you started this. No, you held on to it. You let it play in your head. You let it cause the trauma. Trauma is a real thing, right? But people don't understand that, right? I know how to release that trauma. To release that trauma, first you gotta take back control in your mind. Like you going to war, so you gotta it's sort of like you gotta conquer yourself. And the way you conquer yourself is to be still, to let shit just happen. So when it realized that it can't make you move, then the voices will get smaller. Now, granted, they'll never stop, right? They'll never stop. Bad thoughts never stop coming. But the way you react to them will be different. And that'll change the situation, right? And that takes time. That takes years sometimes. It took Jesus from 12 to 30 so he could be ready to teach. Right? So you got to understand that when you do that, it's a challenge, right? And people don't want the challenge. Well, a lot of people go to church. A lot of people become Muslims. A lot of people become different religions because they believe they can just pray and wash it away, right? But the problem is that's not true. You can't do that. You got to put in the work, right? But Jesus said your works are dead, meaning that your works without the spiritual knowledge is dead. So no matter what kind of works you do, if you don't understand the spiritual realm, they dead.